So this is Mailchimp. It's mailchimp.com. You can have a free account, and that gives you the ability to upload one audience with up to 2,000 contacts in your audience. You can have simple automations, some basic templates. And if you have any other needs than those, it's worth having a look at the pricing plan, which I've uploaded here. And having a look at some of the other providers as well. They all have slightly different variations on that. But today we're going to have a look at a simple, I'm just going to move this, simple account setup. So press sign up for free. And here I'm going to just use my work email. I'm going to set one up. I'm just going to make up a username. I'm just going to use Amy for now. And I'm going to add a password. So as I've filled that in, it's got lots of helpful tips as I'm going through, and I don't want to receive emails, so I'm going to sign up. Fabulous. So now I have to check my email, and it just will come through, hopefully. Let's give it a second. Here we go. And then I'll activate my account. So you've just got to confirm that you're not a robot here. And confirm that you want the free account. They're very good at upselling, but you don't have to go for any of those. So we'll just follow the instructions here. And it's fairly easy. So here I'm not going to fill in that we have a website because it's used by our existing account, but actually this is really clever little bit here. If you have an account with a domain that you've bought, then it can alter some of the URLs that it uses as we go through. So here again, this is part of the GDPR stuff and complying with international anti-spam laws. So you'd fill this in with your address. I'd recommend you use your church address rather than your home address because it will be at the bottom of your emails that you send out. Here I'm going to select that I don't have any contacts, so I can show you how to import them separately, but you can import them through that way. And then you just take here what you plan to offer. So I'm going to select services today. You can skip all of this as well. Do you sell things online? No. And do I want to stay in the loop with Mailchimp? I'm going to say no, let's go. So we finished setting up the account. If I click this monkey's head here, what it does is it takes me to the dashboard. This is what your dashboard looks like at the moment. It's encouraging you to fill in some of the bits. One of the things that would be good to do is on this drop down here, you can see account, and it'd be good to just have a look through that and check that all your details are correct once you've filled that in. So the first thing that we're going to have a look at is audience. So up here we have audience. This is who you're sending your emails to. One audience is all that you can get at a free account at the moment, but you can tag it and segment it, which means that you can, for each individual, you can put something against it. So for example, I might have a bunch of audiences, but today is the Mailchimp training audience. So I tag it with that, and it means that I can segment it out and only send an email to those people. So it's really clever and really useful. So let's have a look at uploading an audience. So on this manage an audience, because you've only got one, this is what you've got. So let's have a view of the contacts. At the moment, we won't have any, apart from me. Oh. And I'm going to have a look at the settings of this. So all of this has been filled in by default. So I can change the name. So if I was doing one that's just specifically for this today, I would put in Mailchimp training. Enabling double opt-in basically means that when somebody subscribes to your email list, they will then get an email saying, are you sure you want to subscribe? And then they would have to press a button to ensure that they're subscribed. So you don't have to do this. We're going to have a look at GDPR fields editor at the moment. And it just means that you can select all your GDPR fields at the moment. So I'm going to enable them. This is really important. And I am going to change it just to permissions. So that here I'm going to say, so if it's for training, please select what type of training you would like to hear about. And then here are your options down here. So I might put in Mailchimp, Canva, media training. And then I'm going to select require at least one option. Otherwise people think that they're selecting something but haven't. And this again is important for GDPR, allowing people to unsubscribe. So I'm going to save the GDPR settings there. So let's go back to audience settings and defaults. There we go. And we'll just check that that has everything that we're looking for. Oh, I didn't save that. We've got the GDPR set up. So the default from name can either be you as a person or it might be a team. The from email address, again, you can actually use one that you've not signed up to. So if you have a default one, so we might have the comms@covguildford.org.uk there. And it's probably best to leave the email subject free there. And then we'll just leave it as it is at the moment. So you can always come back and re-edit some of these as well. So let's upload some contacts. So add contacts here. You have add a subscriber, and that's add an individual subscriber, or import contacts. We'll add one individually. So I'm going to add Wendy in. By adding their first name and second name, you can personalize some of the content as it goes through. We'll cover that probably in a later training session. And here are the tags. So I might add that we did the training in April 2020. You can add all sorts of different tags. This again is important. This is to fulfill your GDPR requirements. So to say this person gave me permission to email them. And if this person is already in my audience, update their profile. And then click subscribe. If you want to add contacts in a bulk fashion, you can add import contacts this way, and you can upload a CSV. It's basically an Excel file that you've exported into CSV format, or you can copy and paste from a file. Again, we can look at that in further detail later on. So here we've got both of us in there now. So we're going to have a quick look at sign-up forms. You can actually do a sign-up form through Create, or this is probably the easiest way to do it. You have a few different options here. You can create an embedded form, and you can put it on your website using HTML code. The pop-up is quite a good one as well. You can put that into your website so it pops up when somebody accesses your website, or this one is possibly the easiest one here, Form Builder. We'll have a quick look here. So you can change the name of your form. There are lots of forms that are pre-made that you can choose from. Sign up form is possibly the easiest one to have a look at just now. And then here it works in a similar way to the actual email editor, which we'll go and have a look at in a minute. And so you can change some of your content here. If you click on the items, it comes up here on the right and you can change what you're asking for. But email address, first name and last name are pretty standard. You might add in your message here. So that might be fill in your details to hear about the training we have on offer. And then you can see that comes up here. And that's your title again, just click on it and it comes up on the edit and it comes up and you can change your title there. And your permissions are what you filled in previously on that the other section we were just in. You can design it, you can make it look a little bit more snazzy, you can change the background, header, all of these options up here. And once you're happy with the form, you have your URL here, which you can copy and paste anywhere that you want to send it out to. So if you send an existing email, you can ask people to sign up through that or out through social media. So let's move on to create an email. So up here on the top left, we have create and then email. And then here we can choose a regular email, an automated email, and a plain text. I'd stick with a regular for the moment. And this is your campaign name. So I might put first Mailchimp training. It's good to check your spelling as you go through. So now we've loaded, it's automatically infilled the first section. So this is what you see when you click into the email of the two. And when it's filled in, you have this green tick here, which tells you that you've filled in something there. You do not have to do these in the order that it's given in, but it's quite helpful. So if I choose from, it's again auto-filled some of those details and I might be happy with that, or I can change that and click save. Subject, actually it's quite useful to leave this until later once you've done your email, so you can have time to think about what your content is and filling in something quite snazzy. I'm going to cancel there, and then this is content. This is where you're actually designing your email. So if you click design your email. So once you've gone through into design your email, you can select a template. Here we have layouts, some themes, save templates if you've done anything before, and any emails that you've sent out previously under campaigns. It's a little bit confusing. They've changed everything. Rather than seeing emails as they used to, they now say campaigns, because they have a bit more functionality, and they're kind of positioned more in the marketing world now, but it still works pretty similarly. So under themes, my recommendation for the moment is to choose a theme. It's a bit more visual. You can see the first 8, I believe, are featured. They are free to use. Some of these other ones, you have to upgrade to use them. I'm just going to choose the first one for now. There's a lot you can change in here. So once it has loaded, they do give these helpful hints and tips here. So this is saying this is the block section, and you can drag any of these into any of the sections that you fancy there. Helpfully, this is just here, so I can replace some of the images. I just click on the section that I want to change. So here I want to put in a logo, the Diocese of Guildford logo. So I will click replace. And it brings me to the content studio. I've got nothing in here at the moment, so I'm going to upload something. Oh. So on desktop, I've brought this through ahead of time. You can't see it now because it's a Diocese of Guildford logo on a transparent background. But when I choose it, you should be able to see it. Here we go. Lovely. So I'm going to select that and press insert. Again, because it's white on a transparent black background, we're just seeing what the background is at the moment. So I will save and close. And then I'm going to change the color of that background. I believe it's the pre-header. So to go there, I went into style and then pre-header. And then here we've got the background. There's some other things here. So there's text and link details that you can change. So I just clicked on the color there. Right, so now I can see that actually that's the pre-header, not what I clicked on. So I'm going to revert it back and then go to the next one down, which is header, and see if that one works. Perfect. I'll go back to this now because I'm not sure about it being on the as big in the middle, and I'm just going to change my image display size there to something a bit more appropriate. And then on style, I can make the image of rounded corners. You can't really see the difference there. I can put in a border and then I can choose where it's aligned. So we'll have it aligned on the left today. It's worth just having a play with some of this as you go through. So now we've got the logo in, we'll have a look at changing an image. So it's fairly similar as before. I'm going to replace this image. Again, I'm going to upload a file. And this one I'm going to use the image from today. So I'm just going to upload that and insert that. So that's just gone again in the middle. That's as big as it's going to go because of the image size and the quality of the image. So it's worth having a variety of sizes of image. But again, just have a play with it. You can put it to the left, you can have it in the center, you can do all of those same things there. Just to note again on the logos, this is a little bit of a large logo for this and might be difficult when it's in somebody's browser and they're loading it. So if I wanted to edit that, I can press edit here. And it brings me to this screen where I can crop it slightly differently or resize it. For a logo, it's probably best for your width to be 250. It's actually in pixels. If you leave the tick when you click away, it automatically changes it but doesn't change the sizing. There are lots of other things you can do here as well on the left. And once you're finished and you're happy, you press save. There we go. So it's made it a little bit smaller. And if I go up to 100, that's as big as it's going to get being at that size. Save and close. Right. So I'm going to change some of this text here. So again, click on the box. Select whatever I want to change. So today I might say free virtual training courses to help you communicate better. So that's my title. And then here I might say, this week we are launching our basic ... You can imagine the rest. If I want to change some of this font, there are a few different options again for that. Some of this is hardwired into the style of the theme that you've chosen. You can change it individually here, but actually I'd recommend you coming out of it and then going into your style section here. So for each section, it will have something slightly different. And if you scroll down, we've got the pre-header text, etc. So I think this is in body. It might not be. Let's have a play. No, it's not in body. I think it's header then. Oh. Again, just have a play with it as you're going through. So we'll move on now and have a look at this. This is a button. These are really good if you're wanting people to do something. So before you start writing your email, have a think about what you're trying to tell people, what you'd like people to do out of it, and also having a think about how people feel. You want people to feel once they've read it. So you might want them to be encouraged or excited, and you can tailor your language to do that. So for this button, I want people to go and register. I'm going to write register now. And then I'm going to fill in my email address, which is c.of.guildford.org.uk/what's on /events. You can change again the style, you can have it rounded corners, you can change the color. And then you can also change where it's aligned to. And then you can change the width of it as well. So you can have it full screen or in the middle, whichever kind of looks nicest. So just a note about your title. You want it to be attention grabbing. For shops, you're likely to see an offer such as 30% off jackets this weekend, or new homeware now in stock, that sort of thing. And then for your introduction paragraph, this is where you're going to welcome your reader, set expectations, and encourage people to do what you want them to do. So for this section, I might have put something about what the courses entail, and encouraging people to register. Just hopping back to the image, you can actually add links. So there, in case somebody clicks on it and I want them to take them to the same link, I would use the link that I've just popped in, the register now. I'm going to close that. So some of the other blocks that are really useful, you can add an image with text. So if I put that in here, that comes in. It's got the text at the bottom and the image there, and on the left you can see you can upload it there. Text about the image, and then again I might upload an image and pop that one in, and I can change the way it looks. So if I go here, you can see your image position and your image alignment. So you can have it to the left, and then you could feasibly link that image instead with the specific thing that you want, and then talk about what that is. So for this example, I would put in a link directly to the Mailchimp newsletter training, and then possibly have a link, the text saying the date and the time and some of the content around what we're covering today. We can also add in videos. So I'm just going to drag that in and drop it again. This will only take URL from YouTube and Vimeo. So again, it has a helpful note just here to show you that. I've helpfully pulled up a YouTube already. This is Bishop Andrew's Sunday sermon for this Sunday. And if I go to share here, you get given a shortened URL that you can copy and then drop in. Here we go. So just drop it in, and then it pulls in all the detail for you and the image. So I might want to use the same caption as this. So I'll just copy that and pop that in there. Lovely. Another really helpful item are these social follows. Again, you can find them here, and to edit them, you would just click that there. It has some suggested ones already in here, but there are lots of other ones you can choose down here. Lots. So for Facebook, I might select to show people the Transforming Church, Transforming Lives in response to COVID. So I'm just going to copy the URL there and then pop that in. And you can change the link text. So you can say Facebook group for church leaders in the Diocese of Guildford. So it's got that all in there. You can see that there are two here. We don't want to. So what you can do is you can either select this bin, which is the delete, and you can press delete, or a handy tip is if you press Alt, and then that you don't have to do the second stage of that, and it just goes straight away. Once you're happy with your content and you've done all the changes you need to, you can go to preview and you can enter a preview mode. So this shows you how it's going to look on a desktop. And it's pulled in all of the details here. And you've got your mobile there, and then to the right it's got the details. So at the moment it will have the recipient's email address, who it's from, and we're still to fill in the subject and the preview text. It's worth noting that mobiles, how most people will be accessing them, although you will be able to see those in the analytics later on. So have a look at what it looks like in mobile. When I'm happy with that, I can exit, or I can make some more changes. I might want to make some changes to the color of the body because it's not the same image, but color. But when I'm happy, I can send a test email. I can either type in the email in this section here. I can include instructions in a personal message. So I'm going to send it to myself. And then send test. And it takes a little moment to come through, but it's worth sending it to somebody as well to proofread it, as I'm sure we all find ourselves getting into that position where we've read something so long and we've lived in it that we're not seeing some of the little mistakes and rogue commas. Once you've sent a test email and you're happy with it, you can press continue. You can press continue at any time, and you can actually come out of it and go back to it at a later date. You can say finish later here. So remember, we didn't add the subject, so we'll add that in now. So I might say first Mailchimp training, and then something about the preview text, watch the Bishop of Guildford's Sunday message. You want this to be, again, quite catchy. It's got some great tips down here. Space, again, is limited, so it's really good. And once you're happy with that, you can press send and it will go immediately, or you can press schedule and you can choose oh, this used to be free. At the moment, it seems that on the free account, you have to press send when you want it to send. They are making quite a lot of changes with Mailchimp all the time. I've used it for about since 2012, and lots of the changes are actually improving the service. The final thing that we'll have a look at is, I'll send it, is the reporting. So once it's come into my inbox, once it's pressed send, we can have a look at that. This is the URL. If you want to post it on social media, you just copy that and post it on social media, and people will be able to access that immediately. And it will just look like this. So it just opens in a browser. Right, I believe I've had the email through. So this is the email. I can click on a few links and it'll take me directly to those things. If I want to watch that, it will take me through to YouTube. So I'll close that and then we'll go back to here to show you the report. So to do that, we look at campaigns. And then here we can see that we've had one open and one click. So you will have more come under here as you have them come through. Your most recent one will be at the top. There are a few options here, but the one that's relevant now is view report. So this is really useful in helping you improve your emails as you go through. So a quick tour. You can see again how many people have opened it, how many people have clicked. An email will bounce if the email address doesn't exist or if the email is undeliverable to an email address. If lots of people unsubscribe, you should consider why this might be. The graph just here, the 24-hour performance, is a useful indicator of when people are reading your email, which will help you decide when the best time is to send an email. So if everyone's opening it at 7 o'clock in the morning, then it's probably a good idea to send it about 6 o'clock in the morning, so it'll be in their inboxes ready to go. Here are the links that people have clicked, and then if I scroll up to the top, there's a few other options here. If I click links and then click map, I can actually see what people are clicking on where. So if you remember, the link on the register now was the same link that I'd put on the image here. And I can see what people are clicking on, so what will work and what's grabbing people's attention in the way that we want them to do whatever we want them to do. So you can also view your analytics through the audience. So it actually has some of the analytics on the growth down here on the left. If I go into view contacts, and this is how you can see some of your other bits of information as well. Lots of other things that you can do as well through Mailchimp. So we've got email, ads, website, landing pages, and surveys. They're all worth having a little look at. You can always get back to your dashboard by pressing the monkey's head. Some of the other email types that are really useful to have a look at as well are the automated emails. So you can set it up so that when people have subscribed to your email, they will get an automatic email telling them, thanking them for subscribing and telling them what they can expect.